It's race review time. We're all aware of the drill on the Monday after a race weekend. F1 visited Hungary for the penultimate race before the summer break. Danny Ric is back on the grid as we all can, and I'll take a moment to mention now, I love his helmet design. And a word on those avatars for the drivers for that kids broadcast thing. Am I the only one who's slightly irked that the drivers who are not normally clean-shaven's avatars are clean-shaven? And two specifics, why does Charles look like a mix between himself and Lando? And I'm sorry, but this one is many things. But Daniel Ricciardo is not one of them. In terms of upgrades, a few teams brought a few upgrades and others brought none or just circuit-specific wings and that. Then there's Red Bull, who brought a pretty sizable package, bringing changes to the brake duct, the side pod / floor area, and the thing that I think is most noticeable and most notable, they have narrower side pod inlets at the front, and they have like a mini, like a wing on them in mid-wing. Honestly, as engine mode 11 here says, someone please confiscate the paper and pencil from Adrian Newey. Also, a shout out to Albert Fabrega, I probably butchered that pronunciation, for always posting these little upgrade documents on Twitter. And a quick line on the new tyre allocation quali format that was trialled at Hungary. I was skeptical of it coming into the weekend, but you know what? I don't mind it now. I like it. That was the best qualifying of the season by far. Could it be more circuit specific as well that caused the great qualifying? Sure. But still, I like this qualifying format, and I think the qualifying format, the tires, hards Q1, mediums Q2, and then soft Q3, I think that did help contribute to that slightly wild qualifying session. Red Bull now, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of was only FP1, but crashing within the first 5 minutes of FP1 was not the best way to start your weekend, Checo. And I'll be honest, you're just about the only person who kinda believe it. At least he was finally back in Q3 though. He did only qualify P9, but at least he was in Q3. And to Checo's credit, he was back on the podium. He did have a solid race from 9th to 3rd, had some solid passes, and I think he kind of needed to get that podium today. Did he maybe get a bit lucky for his life have maybe made a bit easier by Leclerc having that slow stop? Sure, but I mean, Checo probably would have passed him anyway, even if he didn't hit that slow stop, so that's neither really here nor there. But I think Checo needed a performance like that to get back on the podium. And then as for Max, I have nothing to say. Other than Lando broke his freaking trophy? What's that trophy? It took like, what, 6 months to make apparently. It cost like 40,000 euros and Lando broke it. But Max really is coming for that 9 wins in a row record. Red Bull have now broken the record for the most wins in a row by a team, 12 in a row. They are on one hell of a run. The rest of the teams really need to get their shit together. Over to Ferrari, a line on qualifying. That did not go quite as well as I'd expected it to go. I kind of thought Hungary might be a bit more of a better circuit for Ferrari. Apparently not, in qualifying at the very least. It wasn't a particularly bad lap from either driver in qualifying, but it just wasn't enough. Sainz by 2 milliseconds out in Q2. Absolutely mad. But there's just something about the track on that afternoon that didn't suit the car, or something about the car that didn't suit the track. Temperatures, tires, walk-ins. And I'd like to give a shout out to Frederick, honest about how things went of a sewer. He was out in a force of honesty once again after qualifying. I said it in my last video, I'll say it again. I love that he's just honest and he's willing to say, yeah, we fucked up. But honestly, things did not get much better for Ferrari during the race. As pointed out by Vasseur afterwards, the pace wasn't necessarily bad, and it wasn't. Their pace wasn't that bad today. It was just other mistakes that really hampered them. The 9.4 second stop for Leclerc due to, I think it was a broken wheel gun, being a big one, just on the back foot after that. Without that, then Leclerc could have ended up right around that Perez-Hamilton scrap after his first stop, hence why Perez's life may have made a little bit easier. Also, maybe not swapping around the drivers during that middle stint was a mistake. At All That Glitch did post on Twitter that perhaps that's why they pitted Leclerc first on the second stop and then Sainz second, and I do agree with that. And on that second stop phase, holy shit, Leclerc is outlap. He set the fastest second and third sectors on that outlap. He was flying on it, but sadly he was also flying on the pit entry at that second stop and got dinged for it. And a line on Sainz on lap 1, he went from P11 to P6 in the first frickin' corners. That was one hell of a lightning start from him. The soft tyres for the start really worked for him. Ferrari need to watch on the mistakes like they've made today. They need to try and avoid having money mere bad days like they had today in Hungary, because McLaren are coming. But not a good day for Ferrari though, but not entirely down to pace though, so that's something. On to Mercedes and qualifying first. Round of applause to Lewis Hamilton. Pole position by 3/1000ths of a second. Lewis has still got it, and that's for damn sure. Not that he particularly lost it, that is, but all I'm saying is the word is the deal for his contract extension is close. Toto, just get the contract out and get Lewis to sign it now. And well, I recorded that little line before the race. It came out after the race that Toto Wolff whispered to the kids broadcast thing going on this weekend. He whispered to one of them on Sky Germany that Lewis was extending his contract for another 2 years. And then what did the kid do? Tell everyone. Live on TV. Never trust kids. Never trust them with secrets. The Mercedes worked really well on the soft tyres in qualifying. Better than the hards, which George had a bit of a hard time on. From pole last year to P18 this year. Yikes. And while we're on Mercedes and qualifying, Nico Rosberg posted this on his Instagram before qualifying. This man's jinxing powers are insane. I will hand it to Russell for the race though. He drove a really good race. It was a great comeback from him to the points. P7 on the road, but P6 because of Leclerc's aforementioned penalty. And I think that was perhaps more than he will have been maybe expecting after that qualifying result. But overall, I think Mercedes could be kind of happy at the very least for the result today, at least on one side of the garage, because as for Lewis, well, I don't think he ever really had a chance of getting a podium result because Rosberg posted this before the race. Seriously, someone stop this man. Now, McLaren, I'm not going to spend too much time on because I want to save all the McLaren talk for a video coming up on the 3rd of August. I said I was going to come back to McLaren and make his comments on them last month, and I will be. So I want to save it for then. But I will say, totally different circuit to Silverstone where they were really strong, and they were still strong. Hakkinen really was on to something. Alfa Romeo, round of applause, my guys. This has been without doubt their best weekend of the season so far. They, a Ferrari customer team, had both cars in qualifying ahead of one Ferrari and one car ahead of both Ferraris. Joe was on fire in qualifying. Seriously, mega job from him and Bottas. A huge shame that the race ended up going the way it did for them, but I guess that's just racing. AlphaTauri, I finally have something to speak about. Well done to Daniel Ricciardo. First weekend back and he's qualifying P13, out-qualifying his teammate. He will still have a bit to go in terms of learning with the car, that I'm sure of. But it's a good start back for him. Down at Alpine, okay, for the second race in a row, the less said, the better. After Joe decided to go bowling at turn 1 using Ricciardo as the ball and the Alpines were the pins. I'm pretty sure I saw someone say that Ocon's seat broke during the incident. He's fine, all fine, everyone's fine, but Jesus. And I got absolutely nothing on Aston Martin, Haas, or Williams. Overall, it wasn't necessarily the most exciting race. It was not terrible, but it definitely had potential to be so much better given the grid that we had. Not every race will be an absolute banger, and that's fine. Not every race will have a battle for the lead. That's fine. We still saw some good passes, some good comebacks, and all that. Though with the whole will Hamilton catch Perez for P3 by the end or not jeopardy thing toward it 1-1. Not a banger, but not terrible either. What did you think of the Hungarian Grand Prix though? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new. Thank you all so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.